Okay, hello everyone. Once again, welcome to my Genius Science Academy class. Today we are going to discuss about the 6th class chapter, that is the sorting of materials into groups. Okay, this is the 6th class topic. Okay, let us discuss about this unit. Okay, let us see the object around us. We have seen that our food and clothes have the variety in them. In such a vast variety of objects are everywhere. As we, according to this sentence, as we know that we having the different type of the food items, we have the different type of clothes, we have the different type of varieties of materials around us in our day-to-day life. For example, we use sorry we we use variety of items in our day-to-day life, right? For example, sometimes we use sometimes we use the different type of food items like the chapatis, right? And we use a different type of food materials as well as, right? And we see the substances in our homes like steels, right? And we use the lot of the floors, right? Floors. And we use the lot of the clothes, right? These are the items we use in our day-to-day life. And we see the lot of the stones, and we see the lot of the steel utensils used in the home. These are the substances around us. We see in our day-to-day life that are the some substances we use, like the what we call cycle. Here we see the cycle, cooking utensil, books, clothes, toys, and water, stone. These are the substances we see in our day-to-day life. Okay, we all objects are different in the shapes. We see here lot of the substances are there in the different shapes. We see here shapes also are there, sizes, colors, and according there the uses also. We see the lot of the different uses are there, right? We see all these things in our day-to-day life. Let us divide, or let us make the group of these items, or these substances, or these objects which we use in our day-to-day lives. Okay, let us see here. Let us collect the sum of the objects and separate them according to their uses, according to their shapes, according to their sizes. Okay, we see here there are the table, chair, books, notebooks, pencils, bags, and scissor, and the compass, pins, clips, pencils. Lot of the items are in here. In the second picture we see the lot of the things are here. These are the glasses. Here we see the glasses, right? Glasses. We see the bed, we see the different type of items. For example, that are the dryer and the extinguisher. These all the things we are going to see here. Okay, we are have to divide them. Look here, if you observe this picture, we see that some of the materials are made up of the woods, some are made up of steels, some are made up of the composition of the steel and the plastics and the wood, electronic items, razors, tape, or the pencil sharpener, pant. These are the some of materials made up of the wood, clothes, books, and bags, as well as the belts we use in our day-to-day life. Let us separate them according to their uses, according to their made up of, according to the lot of the things here. In next slide, if we see, we separate the items here. We separate, or we by forget the item, if we see these items are some are made up of, right, some are made up of, we separate on the basis of according to the made up of, how they are made up of, and on the basis of uses we are divide, on the basis of size we are divide, on the basis of properties we divide, on the basis of appearance we are going to divide the all the materials in our day to life. For example, if we come to the first point here, made up of, if we see the some items are made up of plastic, right, we are going to make a category of plastic. If the some metals are made up of a steel, we make the category of a steel materials. If the items are made up of wood, we are going to separate the materials which are made up of wood. And we see the according to the basis we are going to divide the materials. Day to day home uses, right, home uses materials are separate, and the commercial materials are the separate, right, and according to their sizes we use the lot of the materials according to their, some materials are larger in size, right, larger in size, some metals are smaller in size, right, they are little smaller, more smaller than their size. According to the these smaller, we use the materials in our day to day life according to the properties. If we see the properties, we use divide the materials according to the property. For example, we divide the material, right, we divide the material sugar, salt, right, and the lemon, right, these are the materials according to the their characteristics, according to their properties we are going to divide them. And next point is according to their appearance, how they appears, according to their appear we are going to divide the materials in day to day life. This is a very important topic for us. Why? Because we are surrounded by a lot of the materials in our day to day life. So if you think that we are use the materials in the different places, we are going to use the different objects in our different places according to their size, shape, uses, properties, and appearance, we are going to by forget the material. Let us discuss more deeply about these points. Okay, first of all we are going to see the appearance. According to their appearance, how we are going to by forget them. Okay, first of all, see the materials usually look like differ from each other, right, every materials which are surrounded by us are different in their nature, in their shapes, in their size, and they are differ from each other. Look here, second line, if we see the wood looks very differ from the iron. If we see the picture, this one, this is the wood and this is the steel, they are totally different in their nature according and their appearance and their occurrence also. These are the natural, right, wood are the natural, and these are the steels are the man made, right, these are the man made. These are the differ from each other. Why? Because wood we get from the plants and the trees, but the steel we are going to prepare in the industries, we steel bar prepare in the industries. And next point, if we see the iron look differ from copper and the aluminum. If we take this iron is the differ from the copper, this is the copper, okay, this is the copper, and this is the aluminum, this is the aluminum, right. This steel is differ from this copper and as well as aluminum. Why? Because the properties of iron is a different, properties of copper is a different, and properties of aluminum is a different. Why? Because aluminum having the low melting point, right, copper is having the little bit resistance, okay, and iron also having the little bit larger resistance, right, resistance, right. These all materials are different from each other. Not only these items, just I took as an example here. If we see, there are the lot of the plastic materials are present, okay, look here, plastic materials are differ from iron, what, these are the differ from iron, right, this is the differ from iron. Why? Because plastics are very soft. We can give them different sizes and the shapes. You see the lot of the what we call lot of the chairs prepared by the plastic. We see the chairs prepared by the iron or the steel, right? Steel. Here we see the lot of the things, they are different from each others. Just take the plastic and the iron as an example. If we see the lot of the things in our home, they are made up of different types and they are the very different from each other. We use the bed, right? Isn't it? We use the bed. We use the bed, that is the different. And we use the sofa set where we sit, we watch the TVs, that are the different. Every item present in our home, there are differ from each other. Let us see the second point, that is the soluble. What is that? Soluble or the insoluble materials. Soluble and insoluble metal. First of all, we have to see what is the soluble and insoluble. These are the differ from each other. We notice that some substances that have completely disappeared or dissolves in the water, these substances are called the soluble substances. If we take a jar here, right? If we take a jar and fill with the water and put some amount of the salt here, okay, salt, right? Put some amount of salt, right? What will happen after some time? What happen after some time? The salt we not see in the water. Why? Because it is completely disappeared in the water or dissolves in the water. The substances which dissolves in the water, they are known as the solvent. Solvent, okay? These are the solvent. If we see in our day-to-day life, we use the sugar, okay? We use the sugar to prepare the tea, and we use the lemon to prepare the sharbats. We use the turmeric to make the food, right? We use the salt, right? These all are the water soluble substances. It means the substances which dissolves in the water. The substances which dissolves in the water, they are known as the soluble substances. Okay, for example, you take the sugar, salt, chalk powder, and some other examples you can take which are soluble in water. In the second sentence we see, and the some substances, here see, the some substances are not soluble in water. These substances are called as the insoluble substances. Okay, here if we take the some sand, okay, if we take the sand, sorry, there is a little bit disturbance. Why? Because first time I am going to use the pen tab here. Okay, if we take the jar, okay, or a mug you can take, fill half of with water and put some sand in it, right? Put some sand in that jar and stir it well or shake it well. We see that the salt or sand, the sand not dissolve in water. Why? Because it is a insoluble substances. That's why the sand does not dissolve in the water. These substances are known as the insoluble substances. You can take the iron fillings, right? Iron fillings you can take, right? Iron fillings you can take. They are also not dissolves in the water, right? Here we see the special sentence, water is a universal solvent. Water is a universal solvent. Why? Because the maximum, right? The maximum substances dissolves in water. Dissolve in water. That's why we say that water is the universal solvent. Today we saw the two type of substances, that is the soluble substances and the insoluble substances. The substances which disappear or dissolves in the water, they are known as the soluble water. The substances are not soluble in water, these substances are called as the insoluble substances, and the water is the universal solvent. Okay. If we come to the next slide or the next page, we see the many objects or the some objects float or sink in the water. This is also the very important, we have to get the idea about this. The float, which float on the surface of the water, sink means which will settle at the bottom of the water. Some substances of the materials did not mix with the water, they float on the water surface. You can see in this picture the plastic bottles, balloons and some plastic pins, all are float on the surface of the water. Why? Because these are the lighter than the water. And some substances or the some materials that sink and settle at the bottom of the water. Here we see that there are the lot of the glasses and the stone and some other heavy materials, and these are, when you throw these materials in the water, they settle at the bottom. Here bottom, they settle at the bottom. Here you, whenever you go through the water and you throw some stone in the water, what happen? The water go in the deeply and settle down at the bottom of the water. We see which substances are lighter in the weight, they float on the surface of the water. The substances which having the more weight, right, more weight, they settle at the bottom of the water. Here, okay. Next point, if we see, next object we are going to transfer, or sorry, we divide in the form of a transparency, right. Right, we see here the transparency. Right, first one, there are the object made up of a opaque, translucent and transparent. Some metals we are going to divide, some materials we are going to divide according on the basis of the they appears and the or their the properties of the materials. First we see the substances through which an object can't be seen at all. Opaque is opaque, it means from the object where we can't see through them. For example, you can take this cardboard. If I hold in front of my face, I can't see this laptop screen. Why? Because the light can't pass from this cardboard sheet. This is known as the opaque body. Opaque body, for example, we can take the here example, we take the wood, right, wood and stone, right. We can take our body also, right, our body also we can take here, and some hard materials, hard materials we can take. Okay, these are the opaque bodies. Our body is also opaque, the wall of our homes. Okay, you can take the example that also, right, wall, right, we can take that also, right. Right, right, you can take these the wood, stone as a example of opaque bodies. Okay, next one we see the translucence. Translucence means the subjected through which an object can be seen but not clearly is translucent. if we take the some substances which we can see from them, but they are not clearly, they are like blur in the nature, the image in the blur, that's why we called as them as a translucent, we called them as a translucent. Okay, here the translucent. For example, if we take the example, that is the butter and paper and the floats and the some glasses, and even we take the our handkerchief. When you hold your handkerchief in front of your face, you can see the partially part of your some objects through the handkerchief. Next one is the transparent. Okay, next one is the transparent, the substances through which an object is clearly visible is known as a transparent. For example, clear water and the glasses. Here if we take the clear water, we can see the what are the substances settled at the bottom of the water. And next we use the glass here, right. The glass is also the transparent material. Here you can see the glass, right. These glass are also transparent materials. Today we discussed about the first we discussed the how the object are differ from each other, how we are going to make the categories of the substances according to their appearance, according to their properties like soluble, insoluble, according to their transparency properties, according to the non-transparency properties, according to the opaque properties. We are discussed about these all the points in this class. So please subscribe my channel Genius Science Academy, and please like the videos and share with your friends and invite them to my channel. This is the first experiment I did with the pen tab. Okay, there is a little bit disturbance in this. Please support me to make perfect videos on this YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much, and please subscribe.